What's up guys, I'm Jake. I'm a portrait photographer from Sacramento, California. And today I just thought I'd share a little bit about what goes on behind the scenes with my pictures, kind of my workflow that leads up to the final product. So first things first, I'm a portrait photographer. So of course that means that I need a subject or a model. And usually how that works is I'll contact a model or they'll contact me through social media and things will just kind of go from there. We'll just DM each other being like, hey, want to shoot? And it goes from there. So once I have my model, we'll shoot and then I'll come back and I'll get started on the editing. So the first thing I do when I come home from a shoot is I get everything from my card to my desktop. And so I'll go over here. In this case, I don't have anything to transport over. I'll show you guys how I do it. So I'll just drag and drop into the new folder that I just made. Yeah, super simple. I don't like using any third-party apps like iPhotos or Google Photos or anything like that, just a personal preference. But I think just having it on my desktop is easier for me. But anyway, so once I have everything, I'll get into Lightroom and I'll import things. And so just quickly uncheck everything and then go to a random picture and then just scroll through each one and like select the ones that I want to include in my import. Then just press import and go from there. So in this case, I already have everything imported and good and stuff. So this picture is a picture of Tate, Lovett. I recently did a shoot with him, and yeah, this picture is actually already edited. And to this is the final version of it. I'm gonna show you guys how I did that real quick. So the first thing, right off the bat, what I do when I'm editing is I'll apply a preset. In this case, it was taken indoors and all of my presets were made for like outdoors. And so everything's gonna be like super harsh and super warm, and like the coldest preset that I have is still crazy warm and just doesn't look good. So I'm just gonna start from scratch. And so the first thing that I notice is it's way dark. And so I'm gonna boost the exposure up to like 155, 150. And then, yeah, I think it's a little bit warm for me just because it's not the look I'm going for. So I'll bring that down to like 32. Yeah, there you go. Tint, I don't know, see. All photo editing is it's just seeing like what looks best and going with that. It's just experimenting with new different things and just going with what looks best. So there's no like right or wrong way to do it. It's just what works for you. So I like to boost the whites up pretty high in my pictures, maybe like 60-ish. Blacks, same with blacks, lower those down to like 50 just to give it this really contrasty look. Usually I don't mess with the clarity. If I do, it'll be like very subtle, but in this case I'm not going to need to. Saturation, the look I'm going for is a little bit like less saturated, yeah, like that. And so I'm not going to mess with that. But so the first thing I do with the tone curve is I raise the darkest point up a little bit, and that gives it kind of like a faded film look, which is pretty popular nowadays. Give it some contrast, bump up the highlights. It's looking pretty good. This is the before and this is the after, so it's already looking pretty good, but it's still not quite the look I'm going for. So I'm gonna head on over to saturation, maybe boost the orange up a little bit. Again, just experimenting with what looks best. The yellow, it's pretty yellowy, so I'm not gonna have too much of that. That looks good. Split toning, I usually don't mess with. Detail, I usually don't mess with unless I'm doing like a noise reduction. In this case, it was taken at ISO 500, which isn't too bad, so I'm not gonna mess with that. Usually if I did take the picture in low light, I'll give it to like 10, but 10 max, just because too much of it can distort the image, and that's not good. So lens corrections, in this case I don't think I'm gonna do it, but sometimes I'll bring the distortion up and kind of give it that effect that like the background is further away from the person, and it gives it kind of like this weird depth look which I think is cool. Not in this picture because it completely distorts it, and I don't think it needs it anyway. But usually I'll do that sometimes. I don't usually mess with these unless I need to. Transform, don't touch that. Vignette. Sometimes I'll do this. Usually I do actually, but in this case I'm not going to because I think it looks better without. Grain. I love grain, but too much of it is too much. So yeah, I left it about 37, and that seems to be good. It's not too overwhelming, but it's you can see it, so which I like. And so yeah, I think that's about the look I'm going for. One thing I do before I finish up is I'll go to the eyes, and I have this preset called Sharp Eyes. All it is it increases the contrast a little bit, clarity, boost that up, and the sharpness too quite a bit, saturation just a little bit, and then I'll just go and lay it on the eyes and the iris and the area around the eye. And it really kind of just brings the person to life, I feel like. It's usually once I finish the first picture, I'll go and select the next picture of the set, and I'll just do the same thing, adjust it if I need to. Like in this case, the eyes, the eye effect that we did on the last picture is still there, and so we need to get rid of that. So that's that. So once I finish editing, I'll take the pictures and send them back to the client via Dropbox. I do that because they can take the pictures, they can download it, they can post it, they can do whatever they want with it, and the pictures themselves don't lose very much quality, which is nice. That's my workflow. Yeah, thanks for watching. I am posting weekly videos now on this channel, tutorials and other stuff like that. So if you want to see more of me, you know what to do. See you next week. Peace.